Hi guys, in this video I'm going to provide a Gyeongju guide for families. So if you have small kids and you're thinking about visiting Gyeongju, then this guide is for you. Gyeongju is a city that's in the southeast part of Korea. It's about an hour from Busan and maybe 3 to 4 hours from Seoul driving. And we decided to take a family trip here in the summer of 2020. We were living in Korea and it was 6 months into the pandemic. So that's why we're wearing these old school masks in the video, and my kids were ages 5 and 7 at the time. So Gyeongju is the ancient capital of the Shilla Kingdom, which is what Korea was in the ancient times. It was around the time of Julius Caesar, so a really long time ago. And Gyeongju is sometimes referred to as the museum without walls because there are some really old outdoor historical sites here. There's a lot to see, including a few UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Sometimes you go to these places and it's like you're looking at a bunch of old rocks, but it's really pretty amazing that some of these places have lasted for so long. Some of the things are reconstructed, but others are still there in their original form. So we drove to Gyeongju. You can take public transportation. I think you can take the KTX from Seoul. You can also take a bus from Express Bus Terminal. But if you have small kids, you know that it's probably a better idea to rent a car. So if you're brave enough to drive in Korea, just rent a car or drive your own car if you live there. A couple of the sites are kind of on the outskirts of the city, so it's nice to not have to rely on public transportation. So what to do there? Visit all of the historical sites, of course. And I promise there are some fun activities for kids too. The first two sites that we visited were the UNESCO World Heritage Sites, Bulguksa Temple and Sokuram Grotto. They're sort of on the outskirts of the city. Bulguksa Temple is a Buddhist temple. It's a really big complex and it's divided into 3 main areas. There are these wooden buildings that are set on top of stone pillars, and some of them have a temple inside. It's an active temple. You can enter the shrine. You have to take off your shoes when you go in. These are reconstructed buildings because the original buildings were burnt down during wars, and the grounds are also decorated with these really pretty lanterns. There are some walking trails that are shaded, but around the temples it can be really hot during the summer. I don't think this is my family's favorite place, but it's a cool historical site, so I definitely recommend visiting. The next place we went to was the Sokuram Grotto. It's a little bit of a drive from the temple, definitely not walking distance. This place has a famous statue of the Buddha looking out to the sea, and it is also part of the same UNESCO World Heritage Site. You have to hike a little bit to get up to the famous Buddha. I thought this place was a bit smaller and more manageable than the temple, and it was a little bit more shaded, but also kind of hilly. At the top of the hill, you can see the famous Buddha, which I think is in its original form, and they also have a place where you can sit down and rest and have some ice cream and draw on some tiles. It's a really pretty spot. So next is the main city of Gyeongju. The center of the city, or the main area, is this street called Hwangnidan Street, and it has a lot of cute little shops and cafes in these traditional Hanok style buildings. The Starbucks and the 7-Eleven are in a Hanok, so cool. So this is a great place to buy souvenirs and things. This is right next to the Gyeongju historic area, which it's in walking distance of the main street. You have the Astronomical Observatory, Chungdae. It's the oldest one in Asia. It's not as big as I expected, but it's made of 362 granite stones that represent the 362 days in the lunar calendar. And back in the olden days, this tower was used to observe the stars and forecast the weather. I don't think you can go inside of the tower. We just observed it from afar. It's supposed to be lit up at night, so if you don't make it during the day, you can visit then. Chomsongdae is surrounded by this really lush flower garden in the summer, lots of photo opportunities, and it's also surrounded by the royal tombs. They are these large green grassy hills The former kings and queens of the Shilla kingdom are buried there, so I think you can actually enter some of the tombs, but we didn't do that because it was getting really hot, so we had to go and cool off. So we went to a cafe. This was probably the highlight for us in this area, to be honest. It's this Chungdae and Royal Tomb ice cream. It was just nice to sit in a cool air-conditioned space and cool off and have this pretty ice cream. And there are also some other good things there. After walking around in the hot sun in the middle of August, we headed back to the hotel. On the way back to the hotel, we picked up this Gyeongju style kimbap that's filled with egg. It's from a restaurant called Kyori Kimbap. It's famous. We picked it up and took it back to our hotel to eat it. They were actually a little bit stingy about how many kimbap they let us purchase. I think you're supposed to only do 2 max, but they let us have 3, and they acted like they were doing us a favor. So I think this kind of colored our experience. We didn't really like the kimbap that much. The Kyori Kimbap was just okay. We stayed in the Bomun Tourist Complex, which is, I think, a good place to stay for families. There's a pool, an amusement park, a K-pop museum. We rode on these swan boats, which was really fun. And right next to the swan boats, there was this big air-conditioned cafe, which is such a lifesaver when it's hot outside. And there's lots of picturesque spots like this pond and a flower field. And of course, I dragged my family there to take some photos. Right near the hotel complex, you'll find the Gyeongju World Expo Park. And this has the Gyeongju Tower. There's some museums. In the evening, when it got dark, there's this really fun light-up exhibit outdoors with some interactive things. We really enjoyed this. I don't know if it's there year-round, but it was there when we visited, and really fun. And then a great way to end the day is to go visit the Gyeongju Bridge. You're supposed to visit this bridge at night because it looks really pretty, all lit up, and you can walk on the bridge. This is the largest wooden bridge in South Korea, and it was originally built during the Shilla period, but then it was burnt down subsequently, and then they rebuilt it in the 2000s based on some historical research. So this bridge is actually fairly new. So we were there for about 2 days, and that's what we did. We didn't do everything. There's also a folk village that we probably would have visited if it wasn't so hot outside. We didn't go to the palace, and there's also a museum that's really popular that we didn't visit. I think 2 or 3 days is probably a good amount of time to spend in Gyeongju. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Leave a comment below and let me know if I missed anything, if you've been to Gyeongju. And if you want to see a vlog of our trip, I'm also going to be posting that on my channel. And I also have a Busan travel guide if you're interested in doing that as well. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe to my channel if you like this video, and give this video a thumbs up. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.